Good evening, everyone. I am Rosana Angelica Padillo, and to continue the topic approaches to literary criticism, I am tasked to talk about the formalistic approach of criticism. And as we learned, approaches to literary criticism will detail the various approaches of literary criticism that we utilize to study a literary piece. We also learned that we won't just be using such approaches to literary criticism in writing our literary analysis essay, but we'll also use these approaches even before starting reading a literary piece. As we embark on a reading and a writing journey, let's learn more about this. As we use a specific approach to read, analyze, evaluate, interpret, and judge a specific literary piece, and go on to produce a literary analysis essay, let's learn about this formalistic approach. Approach to literary criticism. The work itself of literary piece is in the center of the map, as you can see in the picture, because all approaches must deal to some extent or another with the text itself. To critique a piece of work, one must read first the text, after which one may utilize any of the following literary approaches below. So as you can see in the picture, you'll see the formalist in the middle part, right? Because formalistic criticism is placed at the center because it deals primarily with the text and not with any of the outside considerations such as the author, the real world, audience, or other literature. Meaning, formalists argue is inherent in the text because the meaning is determinant and all other considerations are irrelevant. Formalist may be defined as a critical approach in which the text under discussion is considered primarily as a structure of words. That is, the main focus on the arrangement of language rather than on the implication of the words or on the biographical and historical relevance of the work in question. A strictly formalist critic would, for example, approach The Great Gatsby as a structure of word, ignoring the detail of Fitzgerald's life or the social and historical context of the novel. So, Fitzgerald is the author of this story, The Great Gatsby, and instead of focusing also on the author, we'll just, in the formalistic approach, we'll just focus on the story itself. It is ignoring the details of this author. However, formalism, or the concept of strict literary formalism, has often been attacked by individual literary critics or school of criticism on the grounds as it reduces the text to nothing more than just a series of words, thereby limiting its meaning and power. Another example we'll learn is the literary piece The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. In formalist approach, pronouncing the author's name right doesn't matter as we solely focus on the story itself, which is The Little Prince. So let's do an exercise about this. Example number 1. Setting in The Little Prince by Antoine Exupéry is a beautiful desert of Sahara. In formalist approach, we need to focus on the context of the story in order to provide a general and correct information. Again, formalist critics examines the form of the work as a whole, the form of each individual part of the text, the individual scenes and chapters, the characters, the setting, the tone, the point of view, the diction, and all other elements of the text which join to make a single text. After analyzing each part, the critic then describes how they work together to give meaning or the theme of the text. Using formalism, a critic to show how the various parts of work are welded together to make an organic whole. This approach examines a text as a self-contained object. It does therefore concern itself with biographical information about author, historical events outside the story, or literary allusions, mythological patterns, or psychoanalytical traits the character has, except those aspects described specifically in the text. So I hope that you learned something. Once again, formalistic focuses on the inside part of the literary piece. We don't have to matter about the author or the outside real world, as our focus in this approach is solely on the literary piece itself. That's all on my part. Thank you so much.